I've been so outspoken
Hmm.
about. Did you just go live?
Yeah, I
Put
just
it
did
back
go
on.
live because you what happened, Seneca. I got so into it that I forgot to push the button. So boneheaded me. Boneheaded.
Oh man, I hope you recorded it to play that stuff.
Well, that stuff isn't, but we only lost about 4 minutes and 32
Oh,
seconds.
I said a whole lot in that 4 minutes.
I know you did, yeah. So let me start again, folks. This is my friend Seneca Scott. He has been leading the charge against for small landlords, excuse me, but against the negative impacts upon them after and also before the passage of the Oakland or the repeal or the small, I guess, fading away of the Oakland eviction moratorium. And so Seneca's giving us an update.
Yeah, so they're going to end it in mid-July. If the proposals hold out, there's still pressure from Leah Simon Weisberg and Ace, who is a paid lobbyist who writes policy that Dan Cobb and Nikki Bass and Fife rubber stamp without even understanding the impact of it, and they can't even answer any questions when you talk to them, which is illegal. I'll add, it's disingenuous. We have the theft of property. Let me break it down very simply. I'm a renter. This beautiful home you see in is owned by a 74-year-old black man. Across the street from my house, he owns another home, well, at least he used to, because they went into foreclosure a few months ago, because the person who was renting from him refused to pay him, even though they kept working. This was not a black person. So a non-black person, a white person,
Mm-hmm.
moved into our neighborhood in the last 10 years, gentrification, rented from a black man who's been here 30 years, and just cost him a house that he could have left to his kids because he's claiming that he's for the movement. This is what we're doing here. You mentioned when I asked you what do you think's going on, what you described is called a race to the bottom. And we
Yes,
always warned about it when I used to run the unions in Oakland. When we struck BART, if you remember the BART strike, it was a decade ago.
I certainly do.
I think it was 2013.
Yeah, I have the videos from that.
And I had to duck and dodge people trying to beat me up in bars because they were so upset that the trains weren't running and they couldn't get to work or school or whatever they had to go. And I would tell them, we're fighting for you, it's not safe. And they would say, white people, they get paid $85,000 a year, fire them and hire me. Same phenomenon as you're experiencing now. Those people, they shouldn't own a house. I can't own a house. The economy's changed. I can't buy a house, so therefore you shouldn't own a house. But who buys the houses? BlackRock, the banks, the institution. How are we better served? I'll add, over half the rental units in Oakland are owned by small housing providers who own 5 or less properties. Many of these are minorities. When they lose these properties, who buys them up? I also add that 70% of below market rate rentals are owned by small housing providers, mostly minorities. We rent to each other. I've never rented from a corporate landlord in my 23 years in California. With one exception, every one of my property owners and landlords has been a black person. We rent to each other. If we don't have these homes, it increases the housing insecurity of people of color and immigrants. Who do immigrants rent from when they don't speak English and they can't fill out an application or they don't have a credit rating? Other immigrants. If you cost them that property through these insidious and illegal policies, where do these people go? Another issue I'll add is we base all our policies in Oakland on the 450,000 number. And we have so-called progressives who use that number. How are you progressive with the systemic erasure of 50,000 undocumented neighbors in Oakland? They have to live, eat, work, sleep, poop, all of that. You have to count them in our policy. You have to count them when you're thinking about their housing security. And what is the pathway for someone without the traditional, paperwork or whatever, being able to get housing? It ain't gonna come from no corporate landlord. It's gonna come from the mom and pop. And you're costing them everything. You have Democratic Socialists of America who have written clearly on their propaganda they want to take the private property and give it all to the people.
Yep.
And then they get people elected who then pass policy that, lo and behold, is illegally taking up private property. And we ask what's going on. Maybe we should stop electing people who don't respond to the needs of the neighbors. So that's what we're doing, Zenny.
Yep.
I've given up on politics. I don't care anymore. I'm lobbying one group only, and that's the neighbors. So when I got hired, because I do publicity and public relations and public advisory, and people hire me and say, I want you to talk to this elected and that elected, I said, that ain't in my scope of work. Because I don't want to deal with them anymore. I'm going to get the people out, and I'm going to put the people in front of them, and I'm going to say, listen to the people. And if they don't listen to the people and keep claiming that they fight for community, I will demand you show your community. Right now, Carol Fife and Community Ready Corps, I can show you a picture. They just got white people walking around the neighborhood. Y'all can't find no young black people or minorities. All your community organizers, the young college-educated white people, they parachute them. They parachute in, just like Wood Street. If you look at anti-police terror project, they got two white dudes, two dirty white dudes talking about free them for Wood Street. I thought it was for black people. These dudes ain't from here. They went to elite private school. They parachute in when you call them, and they stop black people from getting help and services because they put up these artificial barriers between people who could actually help them because they want to fight whatever harebrained fight they're fighting right now. That's nothing to do with black people or black wealth. I am sick of it. We're speaking out. Carol Fife and Cap Brooks and Earl Harper or Earl Thomas or Ter Hawk or whatever he calls himself, and all of these individuals who are working with them need to recuse themselves. They need to apologize. This is not right. That money ran out 18 months ago, and you let black people go 18 months without getting some money for their property that they fought for through generations.
I'd like to add something. They said, I remember when Shang had that secret meeting where she wanted to learn about enhanced infrastructure financing legislation.
I remember.
And then during the campaign, remember she made a lot of noise about wanting to use tax increment financing. But now she's in and she's done nothing.
Well, the first 100 days, she's done nothing she's promised. What happened to the hiring? And this is the ransomware. Okay. Basically, that's your excuse for not doing anything for 4 years. Okay. I just want people to recognize that this is a failure.
Yeah.
We have to hold these people accountable.
How bad does it have to get before we have some real change?
Hopefully the death spiral we're in a death spiral right now.
Yeah.
Businesses are fleeing. We talked about this months ago when we were running. Here's the silver lining. Neighbors have finally woke up. And we're organizing. Not around party, because there's only one party here anyway. We're all mostly progressives in Oakland.
We're all Democrats.
We're all organizing around the needs of the neighbors. And here's the plan. If we can get thousands of people to show their face, stand together in solidarity in Oakland City Hall in a few months in a solidarity rally that we're going to be working for the next few months, neighborhood by neighborhood. These are the people. You must respond to us in a balanced way. The time of elected officials doing what the labor union and the nonprofits and whatever the conglomerate think tank says is best for the people, and then push that stuff on people who do not like that policy. Oakland has plenty of really smart, accomplished, experienced neighbors. Don't ignore us. Well, ignore us at your own peril because now we're speaking back out. People are excited about it. We have 5 city council seats open next year. With our mayor structure, if we can win 5 seats for the neighbors, people who listen to the needs of the neighbors, local businesses, people who are stakeholders who pay the taxes here, balance, because we have difference of opinions, but we all kind of want the same thing, a safe, clean, livable city.
Yeah.
And we're wondering what the disconnect is.
Yeah.
then they gotta go. We're gonna get people here who represent the neighbors. We have to start right now with that campaign. That's why I have lawn sign campaigns right now across Oakland, where you see, I believe in the power of neighbors to create a clean, safe, livable city.
Hey,
There's no org on it. There's nothing. It's like either you agree with that or you don't.
right. Question. What's your comment about Oakland District 4 Councilmember Johnny Rockman-Drawn saying that she was willing to accept illegal evictions without even understanding that we have an Oakland rent board, we have mitigation measures that can be put in place to stop that. But she put that on Twitter, and I thought she lost her mind. Am I wrong?
I didn't see it. I will have to see the context. I will say this. Denani has displayed incredible bravery and foresight along with Kevin Jenkins for being two new council people and introducing, Denani wrote that counter legislation to balance the eviction moratorium. She faced considerable pushback and still did what she believed was right. So the future is bright in that we have people who are willing to stand up for themselves and not be bullied by other council people, which has been a problem in the past.
Yes.
And Janani has experience as a tenants' rights lawyer. So she has a perspective I don't have. I have to read the tweet, but I have to say this. I did not expect for her to do what she's doing in office right now, which is having common sense and balance. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that she stepped up to be a leader on that city council in just a few short months.
No, she's really bright and engaging. Nothing against her. I was disappointed that she would put out that kind of.
What does the tweet say?
Oh, let me get it. And I'll get it right here because it really, I was quite disturbed by it. Illegal Johnny. And then, oops, there she is. And let's see here. She had that April 17th. Oh, here it is. I've got it. I found it. One moment. Share screen. Here's that. Right here. And it reads as follows. I'll zoom in on it, see if I can make it a bit more readable. I'm proud to support.
I've read it. I remember it.
Yeah.
I think that it was a you can what you're seeing there is balance and using her public platform to have a conversation with both sides aren't happy, and which is hard to do. There are unjust evictions. Not every landlord is scrupulous. Not every small housing provider is scrupulous. Right? I can't even opine. I can't tell you whether the majority of them are or not. I will say the majority of the ones that I've come across are the salt of the earth and work really hard for their properties, right?
Yeah.
So the harsh reality is no realistic proposal. There is no perfect proposal. Here's what I think she's saying. The moral hazard is done, and it went too long. We have a jumbo jet. What's the biggest jet? 757?
Well, Airbus A380 right now, but
okay, that's for commercial airliners.
Yeah.
So you got an Airbus. Oh, yeah, the internet. Okay, you got a big old Airbus full of people, and it's crashing. The engines have failed, and there's a huge, densely populated city, millions of people down there. And if you crash in that city, you could do damage and kill thousands, tens of thousands of people. Or you can crash land that jumbo jet in an open field and hope for mitigated damages, knowing that you're going to kill some people on that plane. That's where we're at right now. The damage is done. There's $6 billion of old missing rent in the state $1 billion in the county and $500 million in the city. That damage is done.
Yep.
There are going to be people who are hurt. There will be people who lose their homes. There will be people who are illegally evicted. There will be people who are legally evicted. There will be a lot of collateral damage due to these failed policies. And the lawsuits that are looming, because remember, there's lawsuits against the county and the city that are still out there. They're going to have to answer in court, why did they continue moratoriums passed? For the city of Oakland, they're going to have to answer, why did they continue past April 28th? Because that's the county's date. They could have just accepted that date. The county is going to have to answer, why did they extend past the state a year ago? And they're going to have to answer that in court about what metrics they use in public health, how other people use the same public health metrics and came to different conclusions, and what was this really about? What was it really about? Why was Oakland, California, the last city in the entire country to have an official end date for our moratorium? It's called performative politics. People trying to get bonus points for their side by saying that Oakland has the most robust and we did the most, blah, blah, blah. You didn't do the most because our homeless grew 40% during these moratoriums.
Yeah, I thought
40%.
Yeah. That's the thing. They haven't done anything to solve the homeless problem. And what bothers me is we do have mechanisms. We have the Oakland Rent Board. The question is, how is it funded, right? We have a mayor who says she wants to use tax increment financing, but has done nothing to employ it. And we're seeing a $9 billion potential war chest of monetary remedies for us. And yet she's done nothing.
Well, I never root for anyone to fail because the mayor's failure means our city continues our death spiral and nobody's recalling nobody. At least the mayor, maybe Price, but nobody's recalling Shane no time soon. Maybe if she keeps messing up, they will, but right now that's not being organized. So we need for her to do her job.
Yeah.
We need for her to do her job. Period. Stop the photo op. Stop the escape avoidance behavior. You have no state of the city addresses. You haven't engaged us in a town hall where people could ask you legitimate questions. We have no idea what you're doing with this budget. That's due next week.
Hey, by the way, which is actually impacted by the whole ransomware attack issue because some of those files,
So I'm going to share something with you.
Yes, sir.
I have a suspicion that, and I'm not saying that the mayor knows about it, but you know that Brandon Harami is not a good person. He's shown demonstrably, he's been proven to be a liar. He's been proven to have connections in these tech companies with the Democratic Party and the Democratic Socialists of America. I wouldn't put it past him to have orchestrated this because look how many things they use it for.
I think that this
ransomware benefits her admin more than anything because they just use it for cover.
I think they're behind the substantial cyber attacks that some of my sites have sustained, and because they look like they're paid. And I believe that he and other people are using the city of Oakland taxpayer monies to conduct denial of service attacks. That's against the law. Denial of service attacks is a misdemeanor in California. So
that's it. A DDoS is only a misdemeanor?
But it is a crime. That's correct. It is only a misdemeanor, but it is a crime. But here's the thing, right? Denial of service attack attempts to happen billions of times a day. You're not just charged for for just doing it, but you're charged on a per case basis. So if you're racking up a lot of them,
these charged compounds. Well, yeah. I have absolutely zero proof or evidence. It's pure speculation. But to have two ransomware attacks back to back, usually you just quietly pay the ransom. That's what most people do. But we didn't do it. And it's weird. Something's weird. It's just a lot of weird stuff in this admin. I've heard a rumor. I've heard a rumor that Chin's chief of staff is quitting already.
Say that again.
I heard Chin's chief of staff is quitting already.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So I've also
Yeah.
remember that guy she hired for. She hired a guy. She's already hired several high-ranking people who left after a month or a couple of weeks.
Huh.
Look into it. Ask around.
I will.
No one wants to work with her.
Wow.
$200,000 a year plus job, and you quit after a few months.
Yeah, that means something's rank.
Another woman.
Huh.
I think it's Harami. He's got a rep in San Francisco.
Yeah, why did she
known?
The guy's been,
I don't know, but the fact that they have such rampant misogyny in our mayor's office is extremely concerning to me.
Wow.
We have Winia, we have Leanna, now we have another person. I would speak to her, but I'm pretty sure she's going to say the same thing the other two have said. It's an unhealthy work environment. 3, and those interns who left, who also have their campaign interns file public ethics charges against Chin. We don't talk about that. But essentially, everyone who works with them ends up getting burned.
Huh.
So I don't think we have a legitimate winner for mayor. That's gone. You can't win by a 0.5%. You win by 0.5% and you disqualify 2.5% of the vote mysteriously. We didn't pick the winner. The registrar did. Tim Dupuy chose the winner. But we're going to talk about it. Besides you, Black media, most people won't talk about it, unfortunately. But we will make sure that we keep. And I got to get going. But always a pleasure, Zinni. I got some more stuff to catch you up on.
You got
talk
it.
soon.
Come on back.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And
I appreciate you too.
Always praying for your mom and you out east down in Atlanta.
Thank you. Yeah, she's in my heart. All right, I'm going to end this broadcast. Seneca, stick around. Subscribe to Zinni62 on NFL Draft Week. Stay tuned, folks.
Oh, yeah.